Hi everyone, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And I did it. I clicked on the first episode of the Rings of Power. I don't know why, but I did. And here I am to tell you about it. It's like a teenager was given hundreds of millions of dollars to produce Lord of the Rings fan fiction based on the movies. That's what I feel like I'm watching. Fan fiction based on the movies, not even based on the books, just based solely on what lore we gleaned from the three movies. And while those movies were very long and included quite a lot of lore, there is no way in hell it could have included everything. And Peter Jackson acknowledged that. Now, this first episode has been centered around a young Galadriel and a young Elrond, and this seems to be taking place right after, well, not right after, but, a couple of centuries after the first battle with Sauron that had Elendil in it. The battle that we see at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring movie. With Elendil and Isildur and all that. Now, we are treated to a bunch of Mary Sue bullshit when it comes to Galadriel. Apparently, she is on this crusade to find Sauron because Sauron killed her brother. So, despite being elven and the fact that elves, while they are fierce warriors, don't generally go for the whole vengeance thing, but oh well, it's Galadriel. So she's like on this weird holy war against Sauron, and none of the other elves believe that he's not been defeated. So she's like, it's me against the world. Oh my god. It's horrible. She's even been gifted with being called away to the Great Havens, which I don't believe ever was a thing. I don't, like, yes, Galadriel has always been a player in the the Battle of the Rings and everything, but I don't think she was ever called to the Great Havens except for the time that she went with Bilbo and Gandalf and Frodo. Now, so, and of course, because they have to make sure she doesn't go away to the Great Havens yet, because this is pre-Lord of the Rings, she has to jump off the ship that's taking her company of elves that she commanded in the battle off to the Great Havens. And then, of course, we have the Harfoots, which I'm guessing are the predecessors of the Hobbits. And I know that this is produced by British people, but it's really amusing to me to listen to how they've grouped these groups of people. The Harfoots are all Irish. All of them. All of them are Irish. It's really funny. Every single Harfoot that I have heard speak has an Irish accent. Okay? And then the elves have your very high-class, posh British accent. And then the men and you know, like the humans, right, are all freaking Yorkshiremen. Right? They're all freaking, you know, country Yorkshiremen, you know, with that rough you know, Manchester kind of, you know, accent. It's very interesting how they've grouped them into these categories, and I wonder if they did that on purpose. I really do. And they're really playing on this whole, like, Tolkien had, you know, the rift between the elves, the dwarves, and the men. But they are really playing up this whole divide, and they're really making it a race thing. Like, there's one scene where because one of the healers of the men village has fallen for one of the elves that are posted to watch over the men who were descendants of the men who were allied with Sauron and Morgoth. So of course, you know, we've got this whole concept of, even though this was centuries ago that these men were allied with Morgoth and Sauron, their descendants must still be evil because they're descended from the men who were allied with evil. You know, the same thing that we get with this whole idea of, you know, you're bad because you're white, and only white people colonized other places on Earth. Yeah, that type of deal. Oh, they were allied with this thing. Arr, they're evil men. Arr. Like, that's the whole elf thing, right? And then we switch to the men referring to the elves as knife ears or the pointies. So we are really playing on the racism here. Like, yes, Lord of the Rings producers, we get it. Racism is bad. You know, like, I love how we're rehashing all of the old things that Tolkien already conquered in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, without ham-fistedly shoving the concept of racism being bad down our throats in a completely unoriginal fashion. You know, he created a conflict that required elves, men, and dwarves to work together and put aside their past differences and become friends. And not once did Tolkien have to use a racist, like, he didn't have to be blatantly racist to get that point across. Do you know what I mean? These people are just so bad at writing. They have to be like, look at us, we're being blatantly racist to show you that racism is bad. 'Cause we don't know how to be subtle like Tolkien. But we're gonna take his works and make a show that's loosely based on it. And oh god, it's bad. And the description, I did get described video for it. And the very first scene we have, the describer is talking about the elven children that are running down the riverbank. And she goes, "We see a group of pointy-eared children running by a stream." And I'm like, you mean elven children? 'Cause I guarantee you, anyone watching this show would hear elven children and know exactly what that means. You don't need to be like, the pointy-eared children. Oh, you look, blindies. It's the pointy-eared children. Those are the elves, don't you know? Fuck off. Blind people know what the elves look like. Come on. The pointy-eared children. Like, what the fuck? This is just, I do not like, I can't, I really can't deal with this. I feel like I'm getting characters that are supposed to be, like, we have Galadriel, we have Elrond, who is the High King's speechwriter and not allowed to attend council because he's half-elven, you know. Puh, on him. Again, with the blatant racism. Which, by the way, Elrond, if you read actual Tolkien, was incredibly highly respected, despite being half-elven. So get fucked, Amazon. Anyway, it's just, I feel like I'm being shown characters that are like, yes, these characters have the same names as characters that I read about, but they do not act at all like the characters that I read about. And people are going to be like, but these are the younger versions of these characters. We have to show them the growth process. No. These people are completely different. There is no vestige of the person that we see in The Lord of the Rings. There is nothing for them. There's nowhere for them to grow into the people we see in Lord of the Rings because they are not even those type of personality. Like, it's just, like I said at the beginning of this video, it's like Amazon gave a teenager a bunch of money to finance their fan fiction that is based only on the movies. And I shudder. I absolutely shudder to think what the next episode brings. Because the ending of the first episode shows that the evil is not all defeated, and it may have come back to Middle-earth on a fucking comet. I'm going to repeat that again. It looks like the evil is not defeated, and it may have come back to Middle-earth on a fucking comet. The only two people because we see just before the show ends, the episode ends, there's a man untouched lying in the crater that was caused by this comet. It's either Sauron or Aragorn. Either one is fucking stupid. And I shudder to see where the rest of this season goes. Stay tuned, because I'm invested now in reviewing these episodes. You're not going to want to miss these, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and remember, the Rings of Power is not real Lord of the Rings. See you next time.